Hi everybody, Cheaply Chic. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have two journals that I wanted to share with you that I created over the past few days. I'm pretty excited about these. I actually made this cover quite a long time ago with the intention of making a nature style journal, and then I even made this cover a while ago, but this one was a long time ago, probably before Christmas. I made this cover and I just hadn't made the journal yet, so I'm very excited to share these. So this is a 3 signature journal stitched here on the outside. I added a wood veneer piece on this clip. I thought it was kind of cool, but I do know that these are pretty fragile, so if anybody's interested in this journal, I will take this pin off, just so you know, and wrap it up and ship it so that it hopefully doesn't break. So I just wanted to mention that just in case. So I added a little garment pin here on this paper clip and then another little garment pin here. I used an Edith Holden book page on both of these covers. I think these images are beautiful, and then I have some burlap here and then some fabric that was left over from the feed sack journals I had made a while back. And I used this really pretty green fabric and added some book corners. There's a lace closure. I will put how many book pages there are down in the description box. I think there's 10 papers per signature, but I'll put the full amount down in the description box for both of the journals. So on the inside cover, I just have a library pocket with some Tim Holtz ephemera. I've stitched the paper here and used some more of that burlap, or not burlap, feed sack material here in the center. There are vintage seed manual book pages here in the book that I have made a pocket out of. I've added lots of trims, lots of sewing, per usual. This is a flap, so it can be a tuck spot as well. And then I just added a little vintage playing card there. Lots of burlap, lace, and that feed sack material, along with trims that I liked. Here is some of my first ever eco-dyed paper I've included in these journals, so I'm pretty excited about those. Vintage hanky that I stitched into a tuck spot, and then it's also a pocket for any keepsakes you might want to add to the journal. I also got a laser printer for Christmas, so I'm super excited that I was able to print on my paper and then tea stain and coffee stain it. So all of these images I got from the Old Design Shop on their website. I will link her down below as well. Okay, and then I'll just flip through. Lots of little tucks with papers. This is my leaf pan that I like to make paper out of. More vintage book page. A tip out envelope. Extra writing space. And then here I use the envelope to add a little tag. This is a vellum book page that I've used on the other side, well, in the signature with a poem on it, and this side was blank, so I just added some coffee stain paper so you can write there. A bag, coffee stain, just some ephemera tucked in here. Center of the signature. Have some extra note paper, a little eco-dyed note paper, some vintage note paper that I have, and I just clipped on some ephemera and some paper. And here is that, let's tear up the paper, of course, wooden thing that I'll wrap up. So this is just some music paper that I gessoed on the inside for extra writing space. Then here's the other side of that vellum sheet. This is from a Gwen Frostig book. I mention her all the time. I love her poetry and her artwork, so that is in here. Another little pocket. More sewing. The other side of that hanky with another tuck spot and pocket. And here's my eco-dyed paper again. Those leaves are super fun. Another hidden pocket, you can tuck something in here. And here is a little note paper I'm sharing that Tammy shared with me in a recent friend mail. Thank you for those. I love them. Another little pocket here. More printing. More eco-dyed paper. More vintage book page. This one I've stitched on a little writing spot here. Some ledger, really pretty doily. More old design shop images. Pocket here. Edith Holden book page. Coffee stained tracing paper. There's that stamp I got it Tuesday morning. I had to use that in here. That's so cute. Center of the second signature. Then here's a flip out envelope with writing space. More Tim Holtz ephemera. Another tuck up here. Just an imprinted envelope by a tea stained. The other side of that book page, and I added more writing space to that. Just a little tuck spot here. That is more of that eco-dyed paper. It's fun. I stitched in another vintage hanky that's stitched in the same way. So there's a tuck spot here, and then it could be a keepsake pocket that you can tuck inside. More Edith Holden images, and I just put a vintage game sheet in there. There's a tuck spot here, and here I just added this book page in because I wanted to include this poem, this woodpecker image. That's Gwen Frostic again. Some wrapping paper. Another tuck here. The center of the last signature just has more scraps tucked inside. Another little vintage ledger note paper. This is Tim Holtz vellum, by the way. I've added throughout as well. And wrapping paper. And on this envelope, I added some music paper and that Tim Holtz ephemera. And this tips out too. And another Gwen Frostic page. Some more sewing. On this page, she has, I think it's a moth print on there. You can journal around it or write over it. I love those book pages. I talk about them all the time. And in this pocket, I just have a tag. The other side of that hanky and more eco-dyed paper, and that is the back of the book with some more Tim Holtz ephemera. Oh, by the way, I will mention the size of this book. It is 8.5 by 5.5, so it's a normal book size, and the spine is 2.5 inches. And again, I'll have the number of pages in the description box below. The next journal that is pretty similar is an A5 size journal. It's one signature. Again, I'll have the number of pages down below, but this will fit in an A5 style planner. I'll show you in just a second. It's 8.5 inches tall, and it is 6 inches wide. I have this really pretty Edith Holden image here on the front with some burlap again and some of that feed sack material. And then this material here is a vintage curtain, and I just really loved all of the nature prints that are on there. So I've stitched around that cover and added a paper backing to it. It also has little book corners here. And then just to give you an idea, this is my Carpe Diem A5 planner. Of course it has rings in it, but I just wanted to show you that it is a true A5 size, but of course it's a lovely size to use on its own as well. But it would fit in your planner if you wanted it to, or an A5 traveler's notebook if you had one of those. So here I added another little wood veneer piece of this pretty bird on a garment pin, and also just another little bead thing I made and some little dragonfly wings there. Have another vintage library pocket and card here on the front with some Tim Holtz ephemera just clipped on it. More eco-dyed paper, some coffee stained tracing paper, and same trims, same burlap, same images for the most part. A wrapping paper, and I just added some eco-dyed paper in there. This one. More of that vintage flower encyclopedia book. Some Edith Holden pages, some scraps clipped in, pretty trims. Another one of those seed manual books that I made into a pocket and a tuck. Eco-dyed paper. I'm looking forward to summertime and playing around with eco-dyed paper. That is so much fun. I'll link a tutorial in the description box down below that I watched and kind of got an idea on how to do it. I'll probably have to have a little bit more figuring out to do, but it's a lot of fun. It's kind of a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. The outcome is definitely fun. So here's another one of those gessoed envelopes. Another doily stitched in here. Little tuck spot with some lace. Here's the center of the signature. I did add hearts there. This is just a little scratch pad I made. Some more old design shop images. Tim Holtz paper stitched here in the center. Really pretty doily. I just glued some little ephemera pieces on that note card. You do want to be careful with this book page because it is old. So I'm just mentioning that now for anybody who might be interested in this. This is a vintage book page and it's kind of fragile, so just be careful slipping things in and out of there. So then here, some trims, a little tuck spot on some pretty paper. Added a tag here. Edith Holden page, and I did share some vintage papers again that Tammy shared with me, and then I had this vintage game score sheet. Used another Edith Holden image here on this envelope that flips out. more of that wrapping paper. Just another little scratch pad. This map, this atlas that I was playing around with is 100 years old, so that's kind of crazy. So I stitched it onto there. This is Tim Holtz ephemera. This is an old design shop image. More burlap and feed sack. Coffee stain tracing paper. Another eco-dyed paper here, and the back of the book. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, I'll have the page information in the description box down below, and both of these will be in my Etsy shop. And I also have a couple journals left in there that I've actually marked down to a pretty reasonable price too. So go check them out if you're interested. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Oh, that reminds me. So I did film the planner video of my planner setup, so I need to edit that. I also have a couple people asking where I said I would already have my journal tutorial up. I have 3 hours of footage I have to edit and go through, and I haven't had time for that yet. I can't just slap it up on my channel. It actually, yeah, it requires a little bit of work from me, probably a couple days worth of work, and I have to have the time to sit down and focus and do that. But I promise it will be coming. It's filmed. I just have to create the video. Thanks you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed these journals, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.